Good morning, friends. Today we are going to discuss about PHP and related stuff. From overview perspective, we all know about PHP. It's like one of the finest language for web designing, and apart from finest, I would say it is one of the easiest language to work upon website designing. There are lots of stuff like while working with PHP. Might be you can say either the programming aspect or the installation part, or how we can work upon PHP in terms of editors, and where that PHP fits in today's market. So we'll talk about those pieces, right, one by one. We'll start with the PHP part, right? So what is PHP? So precisely it is your hypertext preprocessor, and especially it is used open source server-side scripting language. We all know about scripting language and all that, so precisely even if it is HTML, if I talk about HTML, so we can't say HTML to be a scripting language, we all know, because HTML is all about crafting the layout or the structure of your HTML page or a web page actually. And when it comes to programming aspects, so we need to give some sort of let's say if we need to give if conditions or some sort of your looping part and all that, so we need some scripting part. And when it comes to scripting, yes, we all know, so there could be n number of different scripting languages available. So whether it is JavaScript, PHP, ASP.NET, servlets, many more. But when it comes to PHP, yes, exactly, it is server-side scripting language. Why we are saying server-side? Because it is placed on server, we coded on a server. That is definitely issue that it renders on the client side and on the browser. But yes, our main focus would be on only on server side. So Rasmus, they launched it in year about 1994, and like it became like one of the popular language for your building dynamic web applications. Yeah, I'm sure like you guys are aware of what is dynamic web application. Precisely, it is a kind of web applications, or you can say applications which are like dynamically gets changed after certain time or some user interaction. So websites like share market, website like let's say if you are putting up some news, you want after every 2 hour or let's say 1 hour, news should be like modified or should be updated automatically. Or let's say any site like book my show, wherein you are trying to book the tickets and all that. So again, so it is user friendly also, user interactive also, right? So yeah, it is again a dynamic web application, right? So when it comes to key features, so what are the key features and characteristics of PHP? I would say there would be a number of, but let's discuss some of. So the very first, as I said, like it is your server-side scripting language, wherein we code it on server side. Our main objective is to put things on the server side mainly, where we need to have an interaction with the server. Might be, let's say you are going to pick up some records from the database, you are going to pick up some sort of, let's say, files from the database. Yeah, being a open source is again one of the very best part, I would say, while working with PHP. So one can modify, one can redistribute as per their own convenience, somewhat like. So yes, it is purely the best way to for developers to work on, right? Cross-platform is again a good thing. I remember like a few years back, so one of my client was very restricted in terms of paying the website expenses. So he just told me that Harmeet, I'm looking for any basic website. So what I did is I just pick up the Linux server from GoDaddy, and then taken up one of the, I would say, easiest languages in PHP. And the site actually is meant for your he was a builder actually, so he wanted to build a very basic nominal site for his building part and all that, right? So wherein he can showcase all the projects, building builder projects and all that within that particular site. So yes, so when it comes to that, yeah, it was very easier for me to work on with very minimum cost. So when it comes to cross platform, yeah, exactly. So PHP would be one of the I would say platform independent, right? So you need just the basic server installation part and all that, which one of installation of server you will see very soon. But yes, it is very easy to work on when it comes to cross platform integration with lots of databases. Yes, exactly. So MySQL, whether it is your SQLite or any other, even Mongo and all that, right? So yes, you can start working on those database tools. Easy to learn, yeah, that's what exactly I suggested. So I still remember even in your college days or even in your early days of your office, right, corporate life, people used to say, hey, are you done with C or C purpose? See, the idea is like I still remember people used to call those C and C++ to be the base language of any of. So they usually say that if you are aware of C or C++, so then you can learn Python or .NET and or Java and so on very easily. So that's what exactly I just like generally correlated the same with PHP also, that if you're looking for any website development, if you're looking for website designing, if you are thinking or planning to create websites for other people and all that, to earn money and all that, or to join some company, I would say PHP is one of the finest and easiest language to work upon. See, the very important part is like, is it we can't learn ASP, we can't learn Java or GSP or Servlet? No, so no, or Python, Django? No, no, it's not like that. See, idea is this is the easiest one, right? It's like hardly 2 to 3 minutes of installation of server, and a creation of file is very easy. You don't need any hi-fi editors and all that. You can work upon very basic editors itself. Even the notepad would be fair enough for you. So that's what exactly the idea behind saying that ease of learning actually. Extensive library support. See, this I would say in every vertical, whether it is Python, whether it is .NET, whether it is even the Visual Studio Code also. I'm sure there was a time Visual Studio Code was only popular for only the Microsoft related stuff, but hats off to Microsoft team that they started integrating different I would say extensions, so that we guys can start working on any of those multiple languages within your Visual Studio Code also. Even the React team, right? I'm sure you must have done React and Angular kind of very finest frameworks within your Visual Studio Code also. So similar when it comes to PHP, yeah, it's having like vast collection of libraries. Tremendous frameworks are there in the market, whether it's Laravel and Symfony. Yeah, it's like for different specific purposes. Yeah, we usually work upon this thing. So if you are looking for something more in PHP, yeah, I think like frameworks are very useful for you. Large community and documentation. So see, this is, I'm sure you guys will agree with me that for the past 10 years or so, uh, I think like we are living in Google's age, right? So wherein like, when we have to make a search for any specific topic, we are getting tremendous documentation. And especially as far as PHP developers are concerned, it's all over, right? It's all over, frankly. And I noticed that even if you're looking for any basic stuff, even if you are looking for let's say the comparison between, let's say if you have written some code in let's say GSP, you want to write down the same code or quite similar code there in GSP, yeah, developers are there for you, right? So the best part of working upon PHP is like we have documentation, good documentation over the web, and it's somehow I feel very easy to work on. So it's not only those sites which are providing the learning only. So there you from there you are going to learn PHP, But even the developers communities and all that, and developers started created their own zones related to PHP, and then yes, we can learn those PHP stuff quite easily, right? So that's why I'm saying it's very easier language to learn, to work upon, or to learn on. Now the next vertical while talking about PHP is the Zam server. See, from layman's point of view, I would say, see, PHP is a language. We are okay with that PHP is a language. But when it comes to execution, when it comes to your running of that particular files and all that, yeah, we need one environment, right? So that environment is nothing. It's your one of the environment. I'm saying it is your Zam server. So there could be a number of other environments also, right? So but precisely when it comes to easy or easiness, right, so I just opted for Zam server. So precisely Zam server is like, it's a free and open source cross-platform web server, so you can download and then you can start working on the same your web server app quite easily. It's very nominal like capacity setup file and all that. So the name XAMPP is actually an acronym that stands for X for cross-platform, means we can go for any of the platforms. A, that is for Apache, means especially when it comes to web server. M, that is for MySQL, right, or related DB. And P is for PHP, and P again, P is for your Perl. So precisely initially like this, they plotted by this, that the acronym of this XAMPP is like this only, so we can learn, we can go for this PHP on any of the cross platform. We can go for this Apache to be as a web server, then MySQL to be a database, PHP and Perl to be a language part for designing part and all that. So these it includes like various components, right? Like I mentioned, like it could be a MySQL, it could be a MariaDB as well, right? Especially when it comes to database. And X stands for mainly for plotting things in different variety of operating system, could be your Windows, Linux, or Mac OS, right? This we already like had a fair enough idea. Now when it comes to PHP, it might be you start thinking that why we should go for PHP, why we should learn about like PHP. So let's have a brief idea about full stack development. See, there was a time that people used to say that yes, I'm a front end developer, I'm very good at, let's say, JavaScript or jQuery or so, or even React also, right? And there is the other set of team who usually say that yes, I'm good at development, I can create triggers, procedures, those pieces when it comes to databases also, right? Even at a certain level, middleware people are also there. But nowadays I would say precisely near about 5 to 7 years, right, so people start talking about full stack development, right? See, when it comes to full stack development, it's all about like who is taking care of front end as well as the back end also. It takes care of the middleware also. So when it comes to a person who is a full stack developer should have the knowledge of how to work on front end tools. The same person should have the knowledge of how to go for the database part also. He should have a proper knowledge of the application architecture in terms of layers, whether it is your business access layer, whether it's a data access layer. So he should have fair enough idea about that particular piece also, right? So that's what exactly it all about your full stack development. And as I said, like it's one should be like very proficient in full stack front end development, back end development, database management also. One should be very knowledgeable in terms of how to take care of the version controlling of the files while uploading and downloading the material also, or you can say the content, or you can say the code. And development tools and environment should be on tips, so one should know which particular development environment is good for which particular tools or technology, right? Soft skills, yes, exactly. So soft skills here is like one should have a knowledge, or you can say should be proficient to interact with the client, because See, full stack development, generally people think about it only the technical part, right? But I would say that it somehow it also relates to your non-technical or precisely to your soft skills also. So if I'm good at, let's say, technical sides, right? But if I'm not able to express my code, if I'm not able to explain my code, if I'm not able to showcase my code to the client during the calls, during the scrum calls and all that, then I will be in trouble, right? So that's why it's a combination of all the pieces, right? Now, especially when it comes to PHP full stack development or PHP FSDs, right? So it's a combination of different processes. I would say, again, base will remain same, but yes, there will be a small twist. So when it comes to PHP full stack development, so there will be a client side, so wherein the person would be expected to be proficient in HTML or a CSS or in a JavaScript, so that they can design a basic layout of a page via HTML. They can beautify the same page using CSS. They can use JavaScript in terms of providing some sort of dynamic behaviors or user interfaces and all that. PHP, yes, for some sort of templating, because ultimately we have to work upon PHP from server side, but any sort of rendering and all that, so in that case, yes, we need to have a templating along with your HTML. Sometimes, yes, it may require that we can use jQuery, we can use React, right, in order to enhance or in order to make your application more UI interactive and all that, right? Because we all know some very interesting features are there with React, so yes, it may possible we can use that piece also. Now, from server's perspective, right, so we as we all discussed, right, that PHP is mainly used for your server side interaction. So we have to, when we have to generate dynamic content, when we have to provide some sort of pulling of the data and pushing of the data to the database, yes, we need to have your PHP. Web servers knowledge should be there, so one should be aware of that, how to go with the Apache, if we need to go with some sort of HTTP request, if we need to create some sort of APIs and all that, yeah, person should have that knowledge also. Frameworks, if we are looking for some sort of MVC based or something like that, yes, we can go with Laravel and the Symfony, those kind of pieces we can, those kind of frameworks we can use. Database interaction is very important, we all know, because hardly we create a site without any database where we don't need any sort of interaction of with the your, you can say, the files or so. So we generally opt for your databases also, so we can store some sort of information in the database. We can make a kind of DBMS management and all that with the those database tools, and along with the PHP part also. So third is like the database layer, because here we are talking about a kind of interaction and kind of integration, the backend also, right, server side. But here we are talking about the purely the database layer. We talk about maybe some ORM tool which we have plotted in that, like Laravel and all that, right, or some sort of databases like your SQLite, MySQL and all that. So those kind of tools we can implement that, right? So when it comes to development environment, as we discussed, like, so there could be different perspective, means from web servers we can say there would be a different development environment. From integrated environment, right, I mean development environment means from IDE we can use your PHP Storm, we can use NetBeans, we can use Notepad, as I said before. We can use brackets also, which is another one of the finest and easiest tool to work upon that, right? So there could be a number of, right, so it depends on. Then from local development, which I was looking for, wherein like we will install Zam Server on our local machine. Then when it comes to cloud, means like if you are looking for some sort of development over the cloud, yeah, you can go with Amazon Web Services, you can go with Google Cloud, or you can go with Microsoft Azure also. Especially when it comes to Docker, yes, means containership and all that, yes, again PHP can be plotted on your Docker also. Serverless computing can be done, AWS Lambda. I remember like a few years back, like I worked with AWS Lambda but with Python. But yes, when I was working with Python, so I saw that there is an option called PHP also while working with your AWS Lambda. Then from frameworks and CMS, as I said, like Laravel is one of the finest for your MVC based application. And from operating system perspective, yes, we can go with either with Linux, or we can go with the Windows part also on the same. Now from editors perspective, so we have these many editors, right? So you can opt for Visual Studio Code, Sublime Text, PHP Storm, which is again the good one, Atom, NetBeans, Eclipse. Brackets is like is the one I feel it's one of the very interesting from in terms of UI and all that. Then we all know Notepad would be the easiest one to opt for. That's all about the basic understanding of PHP, FST, your scripting and all. So in like further videos you will be getting something related to your installation part for PHP and Zam Server, how to get into your brackets editor, and I'm sure like you will be learning some more programming aspects of your PHP also, so that at least when you are about to target yourself for designing website via PHP, so you can do it quite easily, right? So one of my video I shared related to your PHP and GoDaddy hosting, so I think like you can check out that also along with this current video, so that in future when any of your client or you're looking for any website development for your client, so that would be easier for you also to hit that part, right? Okay guys, thanks a lot for your kind attention, so stay tuned.